Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? That's right. No sleep for all of you goofballs out there gambling away, watching football. Still maybe hungover from New Year's. I don't care. It's the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Very happy to have you with us on our first show of 2026. And by the way, congratulations to me, I have to say, because I wrote the date on a piece of paper for a form I had to do, and I got the year right on the first try. That is victory. Victory, I tell you. I'm not senile yet. Jeez. Oh, we have some great pro wrestling news to bring you. And boy, I'll tell you, you thought maybe they'd take their foot off the gas for a week. They did not in any organization whatsoever. It has been nothing short of spectacular. And we're going to talk to a couple of great guys here. One I have missed terribly. I'm glad he's doing okay. I'm glad he's not hurt anymore. I hope he's.
You're talking about Coach, right?
Phil Stamper joined us. Phil, what's going on, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, no, how are you? Really? How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, I'm not injured. I'm not sick anymore. It's great. I'm doing great.
Oh man,
it's great.
Man, if you could just get that plastic surgery, you'd be all right. But very happy to have you. I dare, Phil. All right. And we've also got our good friend back, pal of mine here in Las Vegas, who just is a fountain of pro wrestling knowledge. He even corrected me on the last time he was on the show, and he was absolutely right. He's the man. Let's bring him Eric Hay, the Haymaker. That's what I'm going to call you, man. You can be the Haymaker.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, very happy to have both of you joining us today as we barrel through just a ton of news and getting ready for what's going to be, I think, a pretty wild week here in pro wrestling. And boy, I was really debating where to start on this, but I got a good laugh out of somebody that put a post up about Monday Night Raw. And if you didn't see this, guys, they haven't been in the top 10 on Netflix for 4 of the last 5 weeks. And over the holiday week, they got beat by the Crackling Fireplace video on views. That had to sting a little bit. But hey, come on, it's the holidays. Everybody's popping that on. But we are getting ready for a huge week. We already saw a couple of title changes come last week. Obviously they've been taped, but still, Julie is the new U.S. champ for the women. And we also have a Carmelo and Camaro. Wow. I'm so.
You got this, Mark.
Oh my God. Mello don't miss. Yeah, I'm so tired. Carmelo Hayes winning the U.S. title on the men's side. But we have 2 world championship matches this week. And Raw is going to be very interesting, especially with the news that Chris Jericho is a free agent. And a lot of people feel like he's going to be signing with WWE. But there is talk, guys, that Netflix wants Chris Jericho to debut on this show tomorrow. They want some numbers. I'm going to start with that. Eric, would you have Chris Jericho debut here and bow to the Netflix gods, or you say no, this is a Rumble thing?
I'd say no. It's a Rumble thing. You got so much booked already for tomorrow night. Don't take away from the guys and women, especially Maxine and Braun Breaker, who are the future. Don't take that spotlight away by having Jericho return tomorrow night.
Yeah, what do you think, Phil? Is that insane?
No, I actually don't think it's insane. I mean,
Really? Okay.
I mean, if you're looking at ratings, maybe, because right now just the tease of that happening will help their ratings. So already it being out there and existing, okay. I don't disagree with like if we wait into the Rumble, like, oh no, they missed out on 2 more weeks of Jericho. Like I don't think it kills anything leading into the Rumble, and I don't think it kills a major surprise if it was at the Rumble. I think if you do it now and then you tease that he's going to be doing something at the Rumble, that could be a great segue into it. Because remember, in international markets, Netflix is the broadcast host of the Royal Rumble. So I think that they might see it as more of a commercial opportunity to be able to extend out how they're planning out all of, I almost said Mania, all of the Royal Rumble versus just singularly, oh, he's coming on Raw on Netflix.
Yeah, I save it, but there's a lot going on in that show coming up with Maxine Dupree going to be taking on Becky and defending the Intercontinental title, and this very intriguing World Championship match between CM Punk and Braun Breaker. And we've also got coming up on SmackDown this week the 3 Stages of Hell match, where once again Drew McIntyre is going to try and win the World Championship from Cody Rhodes. Guys, do you think there should be a title change on either of these shows? We've been seeing it. We're up to around 20 title changes in WWE since September 20th when Stephanie Vaquer won the women's championship. Phil, do you change the championship with 0, 1, or 2 with these matches this week?
Ooh. So I will say there's a rumor, leave it to the internet for always a good planned rumor. And since we just talked about Netflix, and other financial sponsors that are behind the WWE, that a certain Saudi prince might want more name power in his Rumble, so that we might get a title change, let Drew McIntyre carry the championship, and put bigger names. This is the rumor. I'm not saying I'm behind it. And have bigger name power inside the Rumble. I don't buy it. I would like to see Drew McIntyre up on top. I just don't think this moment is that moment.
When is it? When is Drew going to fight? If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it?
SummerSlam.
It's
It's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen, yeah.
Okay, so you're saying 0.
Yes.
Are you saying 0? Okay, Eric.
I'll give 5%.
Okay, Eric. 0, 1, or 2 title world championship changes this week?
I think 1. I'm not sure which one. I mean, Cody chasing Drew back for the title could be a decent story. That way they either win at the Rumble or maybe Elimination Chamber, have Cody win it back. But I can't see 0, but I can definitely see one of them. Maybe Breaker breaks through and beats him just to set up a possible return at the Rumble and a winner to face Braun Breaker at WrestleMania.
You could see I could see either one happening, but it would put Braun in a cool spot and probably send Punk back into the Rumble, which would be interesting. You also finally give Drew his shot too. I think if it were me, I think I'd pull the trigger on Breaker. I think I'd do it. I mean, I don't want Drew to win the title so bad, but just for some reason, I think keeping Cody getting chased is a little bit better right now. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wuss out. I'm going to say they won't have the guts to do it. I would, but I don't think they will. So we'll see about it. But it's going to be a pretty crazy week, and we'll see if Chris Jericho shows up as well. But guys, the whole situation with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, with their numbers dropping, they've adjusted the commentary teams again, so it's going to be back to Michael Cole and Graves on Raw, and then it's going to be Tessitore and Wade Barrett on SmackDown. WWE is just trying to find something that is going to tick things up a little bit. Phil, are they on the right track, or what do you think? You feeling anything right now?
In part, just because sound is very important. to a broadcast entity. We've talked about this before, that during the pandemic, for example, before they got the video screens with crowd noise, when they would go into these moments of silence during matches, and it made you almost feel like I can't watch this. Like, what's happening right now? That you need that aesthetic. That aesthetic's the wrong word because that's visual, but you need that audio component to make it interesting, to make people want to watch. So I don't think it's necessarily the wrong decision. I think the emphasis on, well, where does the change need to be? And going, well, commentary's it. That'll be the change. I think maybe that's the wrong direction. I think there's other visuals and productions you can play with. I think there's other ways to structure the broadcast identity a little bit more to make it more finessed, to be like, this is the major spectacle that you need to see.
Well, and Eric, we've got SmackDown going back to 3 hours too. And they seem to have filled the time pretty well last week on this first one. You get some new people out there, some new blood. And speaking of new blood, we'll talk about somebody who showed up on there this week. But how are you feeling about it? Eric, you're more of a big long-time fan. How do you think WWE's doing? Is they relying too much on title changes? What's your feeling on what's going to draw people in?
Well, I did see that this SmackDown was good for the first 3 hour one, but can they maintain it? I mean, I remember back in the Nitro days watching that, and yeah, you had the great cruiserweight matches, but at times you felt bored and disinterested. Even then, when I was 15, 16 years old and excited to watch wrestling all the time, they need to make sure it's interesting the whole time. I don't know if necessarily moving Test back over to SmackDown because his schedule changed now that college football's over is the main thing to get them. They need something that gives them that oomph, like you said, Mark. I don't know what it is offhand. I gotta think about what it could be that they need.
Phil, is that oomph a guy by the name of Matt Cardona? Of course, Phil, if you don't know, Phil does an incredible index of all of the independent wrestling promotions and their shows across the country. It's amazing. You got to follow him and trust him, Phil. But how surprised were you to see Matt Cardona, by the way? Not woo.
Right.
Matt Cardona on SmackDown, and he is signed. He's back. He's going to be out. I think he had a couple indie dates he had to wrap up, but shocked at this, Phil?
I felt like it was coming, when they brought him back on, was it NXT first? As Zack Ryder, I was like, okay, this is in. No, they didn't. It was for the tournament. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was for the tournament.
And so I was like, okay, and actually I was disappointed then that it was Zack Ryder. I was like, he's done all this build and all this work that he's not Zack Ryder anymore. Visually, he's not Zack Ryder anymore. Not for any bad reason, because he's established this new identity, a difference to who he is as a talent. He's done a lot of changes. He's spoken to that on a social media post that he made to announce that I'm here. I do like that they started the video packages as intro video, woo woo woo, Zack Ryder, and then shut it off, kept the music going, and then popped it back up as Matt Cardona. I was like, okay, that's cool. I felt like he got buried a little bit on commentary though. I mean, great. I don't know. There was sort of like this weird back and forth of like half put over because he's reestablished himself, but half put over that, this changes identities. I can't remember how they worded it. Not that he's a crazy person, but just like he's annoying. And it's like, I don't know if this is right now when you bring back somebody as a new hire to talk about like the thing you're annoyed about with him. I get a storyline, I get the gimmick of it, but it's just like, maybe you should highlight it a little bit more.
Do you think this is kind of a move to maybe bring some indie fans back?
Potentially. I think it's a social media grab. I mean, they're always looking for the likes and the reacts and the engagements and all that stuff. And Matt Cardona's back. What happened? People are going to go to his social media feed, and he did the right thing. He posted about, I'm there now. So, it's going to get some interest and engagement in that respect. Yes.
Yeah. Eric, are you excited about Matt Cardona?
I am. I'd like to see what he can do, what they do with him in WWE as Matt Cardona. I mean, especially not with Vince being there, who had issue with him because he got over himself. With this regime, hopefully they can appreciate what he's done in the last 5.5 years as Matt Cardona on the Indies, reestablish himself, and hopefully make him into that star he needs to be in WWE.
I want him to just go out and, he had the smile on his face, and that's fine. But I think it's time to have him go really beat somebody up. I mean, not just slightly. I mean, destroy somebody. Let's get this Matt Cardona back on there. By the way, in the chat box, in our live stream, which you can join in if you go to X at Mark Hoke Show or Facebook and YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Javon Campbell, 8357, says Zack Ryder returns and his wife Chelsea loses a title. How dare WWE? Yes, that was unfortunate for Chelsea as Julia picks up the U.S. title. We knew about that about 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so we'll see how this goes. But those two back together. Could you do a couples thing, maybe, Phil? Another one?
Right. That's just it. Like, okay, we've kind of seen it before. Like, I don't think you need to rush into that. I think there's a way to play that off, and I think they could do it, and it's there if they need to do it. But I don't think you need to rush into that right now.
Yeah, I thought Chelsea was in love with Ethan Page. Gotta
Ethan Page Ethan Page is too much in love with himself.
I don't know, man. Yeah, he loves himself more than Chelsea, that's for sure. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, boy, I'll tell you, there's just so much happening with CMLL is making noise. We've got people saying TNA, are they going to be the number 2 promotion? We have AEW's new world champion, which we didn't get to talk to Phil about last week. Vince McMahon. I mean, there is just too much stuff. We're going to try and get it in on the Mark Hoke Show. Best in Pro Wrestling. We'll be right back.
Helmet. FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Wow, I even got the points right this morning. Phil with the eyebrows. Man, we are all hyped up. Eric, do something silly on the live stream. Do it. Ah, there you go. That's how we handle it around here on the Mark Hoke Show. Very happy to have you with us as we roll on the best in pro wrestling. Whether you're listening to us on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, or the Odyssey app, which if you don't have that app, well, golly gee whiz, that's just, self-deprivation. You need to help yourself out, man. Your doctor is going to be like, you don't have the Odyssey app, do you? You're like, no, that's why you're sick. AUDACY. Go get that right now, and you can hear our show. You can hear all the great shows on KDAWN. You can hear me pinch hit host the Steve Sanchez show, which airs Monday through Friday. I had to do that on Friday. That was quality entertainment. And of course, 220 stations from around the Odyssey universe. It's exciting. Go get that app right now. And we're also live streaming YouTube, Facebook. If you want to check that out and say hi. And there's people. I love these guys in our chat box. I got to give this one to Javon real quick. He said, let's do a Rick Rude versus Jake the Snake feud with Matt Cardona and Ethan Page fighting over Chelsea. Yeah, that's interesting. And I did see something funny on Twitter too. I got to hit too. That there's an account, Kepfas, KEPHFAS. And I don't know if any of you guys follow this or not, but that I find him rather amusing. But he put up a picture of Santos Escobar holding a championship belt. It says catering. And he said, my boy Santos Escobar signed a WWE extension and became the World Unified Catering Champion. Phil's trying to bite his tongue on that.
Jeez. That's all I got to say to that one. Just jeez.
That's funny. That is funny. Some other WWE stuff happening, and it's funny that we also had a comment in the chat box from Javon Campbell bringing up El Grande Americano, saying El Grande Americano taking a title off Tom and Nick Mysterio. That's kind of funny. But there's going to be an interesting situation here soon, too, with the El Grande Americano character. Because, of course, Ludwig Kaiser took it over when Chad Gable had to go out with his neck surgery or neck issues or shoulder issue, excuse me. And he was out for about 6 months, but Chad's getting ready to come back. But Kaiser has made this gimmick his own. He is so over in AAA with this thing. It's not even funny. Eric, what do you do with Chad Gable? Do we have double El Grandes? Do we, maybe a couple Ventes? I don't know, but what do we do?
I was gonna say, have Kaiser do it in AAA and have Chad Gable do it on WTV.
Phil, you like that?
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, who's not to say there are not more out there, I should say. I think there's a few other people you could throw into that mask and put them around. Like, let's go.
So you guys are saying you want like 9 El Grandes flying around. You don't care how many El Grandes there are.
I want to see in the Royal Rumble at least 3 El Grandes.
Phil, who's your third El Grande?
Oh, that's a good question. Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano. All right, that's not bad. Eric, who's your third El Grande if you had to pick somebody just for fun?
Just because of who he is, have R-Truth come out as El Grande Americano.
Oh my God. Okay, you guys sold me on the idea.
Masterful booking. Done.
You sold me on that. But this will be interesting to see what happens with Chad because he was really on a roll. And, but like I said, Kaiser's done such a great job. He's even cutting these promos in Spanish and everybody's just stunned with what he's done. So that will be something to see with him. We also have a possible departure with Tommaso Ciampa leaving WWE. That is rumored. Now, boy, it's so hard to picture him leaving WWE. But Eric, do you think that's a good decision?
I don't, only because of where does he go? I saw people online saying, "Oh, he should go to AEW and be a main eventer right away." They already have a stacked roster. He's not going to walk in there and suddenly challenge MJF for the title. TNA, he could, but as we talked about this morning before the show started, they're WWE light. So would he succeed there? I mean, I don't know. Like, retirement's also on the table. Or maybe go back to NXT, go for Goldie.
I just don't see a real good player for him, Phil.
I'm going back and forth. You know, who knows his personal situation, what he might be trying to go for. Maybe he's trying to resign and they're not really up for the deal. You know, there's been more than one contract dispute lately that people, you know, hey, I went in and I felt like I got shortchanged or not really what I was worth. And so who knows what's going on that side of things. I want to see how it plays out. You know, we're forgetting New Japan exists. They are really the number 2 company in the world. Sorry, AEW.
Ooh, listen, you firing shots.
That's not me firing a shot. Like the money and the rankings and the ratings that people are getting internationally, like they blow them out of the water. They just do. AEW's number 2 in the United States for now. So I don't, you know, Tommaso, I think would do well at an AEW. I think the challenge is what we've seen before is somebody comes in really hot and then a month later you don't hear for them for 6 months until they're on an ROH taping.
Yeah, this will be fascinating.
That's not what I want to see.
No, and I get what you're saying. It would be interesting to see where he slots in because he's capable of working at the top of the card. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
Just will he? And he has had a history of injury too. So, you know, he's got a little wear on the tires, but he's still Tommaso Ciampa. But you know what? I was going to talk about something else, but let's just dive into this since you decided to fire some shots, Phil, because Matt Hardy made some comments that he wants to see TNA be presented, and I want to make sure that we make this clear, as the number 2 company, professional wrestling company. And a lot of people fired back and said, well, you know, that you're going to have to get past AEW and CMLL and New Japan to do that. But Eric, can TNA become the number 2 company? And we got a new TV deal and everything with AMC, but I'm very skeptical about that, to say the least.
They could get close. I don't see them surpassing AEW here in the United States just because the production value and the name value in AEW versus TNA. I mean, you have the Hardys who are 50 plus. They don't have that star power that AEW has.
Well, and Phil, I think the problem with TNA has, and I know that they have said that they're extending this agreement that they have with WWE through 2028, is that agreement. To me, it makes them look like they are a farm club for WWE, and anybody that gets rolling in TNA is going to get rated. So this company, if they stay with this agreement, is just going to keep getting gutted by WWE as you go along. Someone's going to get hot. They're going to get signed. You know, Joe Hendry's gone. That's another one. You know that Leon Slater is not going to be long for staying in TNA. WWE is going to want him either on NXT or the main roster. And that's just going to keep going and going until they're willing to maybe step back. So I don't know if, while they're going to have a chance to do well with, you know, being on AMC now, I just can't see them making that kind of a jump.
I mean, I think they're going to come out of AMC swinging, right? Of course, they're going to put their best foot forward. I would imagine the biggest thing that I thought out of all of the 3 current major companies in the United States, WWE, AEW, and TNA. TNA has always been the one that has had the hardest time with the production visuals of their company compared to the other 2. I thought during the pandemic era, they had the best quality wrestling in 2020. And I will stand by that. They were not the best wrestling show on television, both between that crowd aspect, like having no crowd, not filling the space with noise, They lacked in some of those elements. They lacked in production at first. Then they upped some of their game. And I think, okay, so now they need to keep that fresh and flourish it a little bit more. But they don't have the same kind of stable production element that a WWE and an AEW have right now. They don't have fully contracted individuals. They have individuals that they bring on like per event kind of thing to do that. So it's like, how do you build that and go, okay, we're going to continue that steam on a television production? You can have a wrestling event all you want and tape it and put it somewhere. You have to up that production element. I think they're capable of doing that. I want to see them do it. I want to see them hit the ground running, home run swinging all the time. Let's see that. I wonder where they're putting their money into this production. I have other questions about TNA right now. I'm on a whole lot of things, but I just am curious how they're going to move this forward. Or it's going to become kind of what you said. Is it just going to be a rehash of WWE? Are you going to watch when they go on their first AMC show and it feels like it's WWE Light?
Yeah, because I think that's a very distinct possibility.
If it's the Legends show, no, they might as well just leave AMC and go back to, I don't remember the name of the network that they run. Thank you, Access. Thank you.
Yes.
Because nobody was getting access. I did see, AMC's in 60 million homes compared to TNT's in 70 million. So already there's a numbers game there that'll be hard to overpass where AEW is in the rankings. I think TNA is capable. I think they have the talent that is capable. I want them to make the right business choices on showcasing what it is that makes TNA special, not let's do a rehash and make it WWE Light.
Oh, another company out there that has made news, and I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but CMLL out of Mexico for this year had 1.1 million paid spectators in Arena Mexico. According to Dave Meltzer, this is an all-time record for any arena in the history of wrestling. They had either between around 63 or 64 sellouts, which was more than WWE had. They sold out shows on the 26th, the 28th, and the 30th. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. I don't see TNA doing that, Eric.
No, I mean that's very impressive in Mexico for them to do that. TNA, are they gonna do a lot of their shows and where they usually do them? Are they gonna go on the road? What are they gonna do? That's another question. And like we talked about also with AEW, they need to do smaller arenas first. They can't try to go big yet. They need to keep it smaller venues. Like for in Las Vegas example, Michelob Ultra Arena would be better for them versus trying to go bigger, as an example.
Yeah, and AEW has confirmed they will be doing their another Grand Slam show down there as well. But Phil, for all the attention AAA is getting because of WWE, that's pretty impressive for CMLL as they just continue to roll on, man.
I mean, Mexico is a very different audience. I am glad any wrestling is getting that, like any, because we hear now that the way ratings are sometimes tracked, like between Nielsen and now a lot of digital presence is being tracked a lot differently for television. Oh, wrestling hasn't really been watched that much. And I've heard that sentiment, but have they changed the demographic to really capture, like, who are you surveying to really get a grasp on it or not? Because wrestling is certainly everywhere in our culture, everywhere in our pop culture. The talent are movie stars. You see them on TV shows. You see them on Sports Center on ESPN. So it's like you're seeing this sort of enculturation of professional wrestling everywhere. And so I feel like there's more that are watching than what some of the ratings are capturing and honestly, there's a lot of people who are watching via social media. That's how a lot of people are also consuming the products. So again, any audience that can get that, great. Keep it up. Let's do more.
Well, and we had last night, Hiroshi Tanahashi had his retirement match in New Japan. And as he wrestled Okada and said goodbye, a 26-year career, incredibly ending. Of course, now he's the president of New Japan. But we had Yota Tsuji make some comments. And to me, it was very similar in terms of the parallel between the WWE and TNA relationship and the relationship that AEW had with New Japan. And you can agree or disagree with him, but he kind of felt like AEW gutted New Japan a little bit, took a lot of their top talent away once they got this relationship established and started putting them on. So is that a precursor maybe, Eric, for TNA to watch out for? And I'm not saying that Tony intentionally did it, but they got a lot of good wrestlers out of this.
I mean, like you said before, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater isn't going to be long for TNA because they're going to scoop him back up. I mean, they're going to take the talent when they get hot, and we haven't seen too much of the women yet. We saw Jordan Grace, but I can see more TNA talent jumping ship.
Is this, is Suji right, Phil? Is he right that AEW gutted New Japan?
No, I think he's absolutely right. I think that's been a big challenge for them. I think some of the talent are going to get tired of not being featured as well, and may go back. And you've seen that with some talent who want to leave AEW to go back to WWE because they don't feel like they've been showcased well. So I think AEW has a model that they need to change.
And that is?
First, they have a roster that's way too large. Like you can't highlight 200 people. And I know I'm probably over exaggerating. Actually, I don't know if I am over exaggerating. That's the number that they have. They have a lot of people on their roster right now. And I don't want anybody ever to lose a job. So I hate to even say it this way, but they have to trim that roster down a little bit to showcase people. ROH doesn't need to be a competing brand with your own identity. Like it doesn't need to be the new dark. If you want to make it an entity, make it like an NXT. This is your field to give talent that haven't had to work on television before to learn production, to learn the timing, to figure it out before you put them on AEW. I think that's a great spot, a great opportunity. You don't need to make it this. I mean, ROH, of course, has a great reputation, great history, and I'm not denying any of that. But you have this other product. Make it your developmental product for your main show. And there are way too many mistakes that happen in the ring on your main shows for people who are supposed to be your top caliber talent. Top caliber talent. It happens way too much, and that drives me crazy. And so many of the people who are there as agents have very openly said, like, the young guys don't want to listen to me. And it's like, well, then those young guys shouldn't be on television. I'm sorry. But that's what an agent is there to do. They help to guide you and put you on the direction that you need to be on production. I get that, an agent shouldn't be controlling every element of a match, but at the same time, they're trying to tell you what you shouldn't do and should do for certain reasons when it comes to production. And you don't want to listen to them. That's dumb. That's purely dumb. And I think a lot of these young guys just don't get it. They don't understand it. But it's a different world. Being on television is a very different thing than just being a top talent on an independent event.
Man, no doubt about it.
They have to figure that out. They have to work that through a little bit more. I like their pay-per-views and how they do their pay-per-views. I think the storylines that they build there and the showcase they show there are great. Getting people there is the struggle right now. And I think I think there's a lot of moving parts to it. Of course, a live event. And there's something that needs to happen in that structure there. And I don't know who's really doing what behind the scenes. Is it all on Tony? Which a lot of people point that finger at, like, well, he wants so much control. Is that the problem? And people need to say, hey, Tony, you just need to step back. Like, be the representative figurehead, say all the things, but you need other people to come in, which I don't think he's going to give up that control if that's the case.
I doubt that very much.
Yes.
He's a great guy, but he does like to keep his finger in the pie. Let's take a break, and we come back. We've got much more from the world of pro wrestling. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna nail this before we go to the break. Is the Devil's Kiss the dumbest move in pro wrestling? Is it? We're going to talk about it when we return. Stick around. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. We'll talk Las Vegas.
If you live in Clark County, you are at risk of developing non-smoking lung cancer. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that gets into homes and increases one's risk of lung cancer, and it exists here in Clark County. Radon is colorless and odorless, so the only way you know if your radon level is elevated in your home or
KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Sorry, I was getting all smoochy face there. You know, that's it, Phil. Get in there, Eric. Hey, by the way, Eric's wearing the OTC shirt in there. Show that baby off. That's nice. I don't know. I just think he's a tribal chief. I never got the original part. It's like, whatever. He's a tribal chief. All right, I'm gonna hit this because it's just it's irritating the hell out of me to the point where I think even the internet is getting sick of it. There was a clip from Stephanie McCare's last match where they did she's doing her devil's kiss. There was like a WWE had a clip like a double devil's kiss. Hey, for those that don't know what this move is, pretty simple. Stephanie is putting someone's head between her legs in a kind of a figure 4 leg lock position and supposedly bouncing their head off the ground while her buttocks, which are fairly exposed, are bouncing up and down. Supposedly, this is a devastating move. And I know Phil Stamper probably uses this in his matches all the time. No, it's amazing. This move is stupid. It makes no sense. If you watch that video, I think it was Raquel Rodriguez that was in it. This is all they show of this poor woman. She's a very good wrestler, but all we ever see is the devil's kiss. Boingy, boingy, boingy. Are we done with this? Eric, are you done with this move? Because the internet is trashing WWE for putting, every time there's a highlight from her match, it's her butt.
And what does it really do? What I mean, yeah, it's a great visual for all of us guys, of course. Look at her ass, but what does it really do? I mean, it's no different than a pop move for the crowd, all of the people's elbow, five knuckle shuffle, stuff like that.
But those hurt. Should, technically. Phil, you put up all these submission moves on your little social media posts.
Mm-hmm.
First off, give me the devastation level of a devil's kiss. If you put somebody in a devil's kiss, how much pain and suffering are you causing them?
The fact you're ramming somebody's head repeatedly into the mat, yeah, that's gonna suck.
They're not hitting the mat. No. You're not gonna tell me that. You're not gonna tell me that. I'm not a professional wrestler, but I wrestled. There's no way that person's head could be hitting the mat. There's no way. You've got their legs under your neck. You can't hit their head on the mat.
It's pro wrestling. They're hitting the mat as much.
They're not hitting a mat
with the quarter of the strength of a pile driver.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
That's supposed to be the impact. That's not what WWE is showcasing it for. We know it's not. It's look, she's sexy. Like that's what they're going for. Like we know that it's blood, guts, and gore and sex. They're highlighting that clip. It's entertainment. I'm using like for those of you who can't see me, I'm doing like Madagascar. You can't see me hand motions.
That's right. And Triple H is staying for it's sports entertainment.
Right.
Oh. But let me throw this out to both of you. How much is this hurting Stephanie when you try to look at her as a credible pro wrestler, and this is all that WWE every match puts up? You don't see a lot of her doing other things in the ring. This is the feature for her, and I don't think that helps that much, Eric.
It doesn't. I mean, like I said, it happens in the match. It's gonna pop the crowd. It's gonna give a viral moment like they like to have. But yeah, I want to see more out of her match. I want to see what she can do in the ring. Her offense, way she comes back from getting beat up, stuff like that. I don't want to see just her putting her legs around the back of her and someone's neck and bouncing up and down on the mat for 10 times.
Not even close to the effectiveness of a stink face, by the way, Phil.
I doubt that. Like, no, stink face to me is not an effective. It's an offensive move, but
it's offensive. This is offensive, not offensive.
Right. That's yeah. Right, syllable.
But seriously, this is WWE hypes this thing so much.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help her at all? Yeah, she's got a great butt. I'm down. Yeah, sure. But otherwise, how does this help her as a wrestler?
See, this is where I'm like, but here's where like the weird twist comes in professional wrestling, right? Like for the most part, this is not on everybody, but like they try to sell the physicality, the bodies, the athleticism, the athletic appearance of their talent. And where that gets twisted is then that borderline of visual attractiveness and sexuality, or sexual appeal. And if this is an attempt to go, well, look at her butt doing this move. And so like, oh, let me watch her. And then you watch and like, oh gosh, she's a great wrestler too. Is that the attempt to suck them in?
Calling it a loss leader is what you're calling it. It's a loss leader. By the way, in the chat box, Cordell Campbell, S8N, said, if Nia Jax performed the Devil's Kiss, that would be devastating. I love our listeners. I love them very much. All right. Well, I had to get that off my chest. We got a whole bunch of interesting stuff to hit in hour number 2. Mercedes Moné lost her mind at World's End, and it ended up costing her this week on Dynamite. And also talking about what's happening in the ring, William Regal had some very interesting comments that he made. And is The Rock going to come back in another year and a half? Stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more. Phil Stamper, Eric Hay. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. We certainly do appreciate it. We'll see you on the other side of the break. And join us on live stream. Come on along. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Ready to hit the road in a new ride? One Nevada Credit Union believes your life should be rewarded. With a new or refinanced auto loan, One Nevada will let you skip payments for 90 days. You really can drive now and pay later. At One Nevada.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's happening? Nah, we can't do it that way. Wake up, everybody! Put down your bottles of booze you've been shoveling down since New Year's Eve. No, those either doing other things. Put that stuff down too. And send it to Phil Stamper. He'll take it. No, he'll throw it in the toilet. He wouldn't do anything like that, would you, Phil? No, no comment. Never mind. Well, I can tell. Well, Eric Hay just likes amphetamines and things like that. So
I was ready to drink last night after the football game.
Which I didn't see what happened. I haven't looked at the scores yet, believe it or not. I was out to have my daughter picked up my daughter from her trip from Germany yesterday. She has returned, so I didn't get to see what happened, to be very frank. So, well, I guess I'll take a look before I head into the book today. But so we have Mercedes Moné is on her breakdown following AEW's World's End, which, by the way, did 140,000 pay-per-view buy rate. So a nice showing for AEW on a show over a holiday weekend. That's pretty dang good, by the way. But Mercedes lost in a tag match, flipped out. Willow pinned her, and she challenged Willow Nightingale to a match for the TBS Championship. And Phil, that has resulted in her being Mercedes 9 belts, because now all of a sudden Willow Nightingale is a double champion as the one half of the AEW World Tag Champs and is now the TBS champ. And Mercedes lost it again.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes is doing a good job on this. I'll say that first. And on the other side, very happy to see Will Nightingale, who just seems like one of the nicest people on the planet, getting another championship. Your reaction to what's going on here with Mercedes and Willow, by the way?
I would love to see the downtrodden Mercedes Moné, like, she loses all of her championships. Oh my gosh, panic mode. What does she do now? Like, trying to struggle to figure out the next step. I would love to see that development for Mercedes Moné, to see where that goes. I think for Willow, it's great. I love it. There were people who heard criticisms of, like, was it the right timing? Like, I don't care. Like, it was, I think I'm happy for Willow. I'm glad it's off Mercedes. I think you need to drive a little bit more of the Mercedes, like, okay, people have figured her out. She needs to change her ways. And then she actually does change her ways somehow. I think that's a great development.
Eric, is the eventual rebound, will it lead to the AEW Women's World Championship?
It will. It definitely will. I mean, she's got to go down to come back up. Got to fall, and then when she does come back up and wins that title, it'll mean that much more for the story.
I'm just wondering how much time it's going to take her to lose all those championships, because they're from all over the world. I mean, she's got to do some traveling to ditch this. I don't know if she thought about that too hard when she started winning championships in Eastern Europe and all over the place. But yeah, this is going to be fun to see how that turns out. But Mercedes Moné now no longer the TBS champion. But Phil, I didn't get to talk to you guys. MJF wins the world championship. So we've got our good friend Maxwell. I believe his middle name's Keith, isn't it? His real middle name's Keith. I got to look it up.
Right, now I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm like,
yeah, because I'm sure I will be headed down to the to AEW Revolution in Los Angeles, and I may call him Maxwell Keith Friedman just to see what happens.
Tyler.
It's Tyler.
Tyler. I'm sorry, Tyler. My bad. That's even better.
MTF.
I will. If he says something mean to me, I'll be like, Maxwell Tyler. Don't you dare to say that to me again. See what happens. Think he'll jump me? Phil, would you jump me?
No, because I would expect it from you.
Oh my God! But
MJF
MJF is,
on the other hand.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's gonna. I'm gonna get the Dr. D. David Schultz treatment. But Phil, are you happy MJF's got the title?
Yes, I am. They needed to pivot a little bit in the championship scene. I'm happy it's with MJF.
Eric, are you happy with this development?
I'm very happy because he's that perfect jerk to piss people off and get that face that's going to chase him. Eventually, when that face wins the title from him, it'll mean that much more with him as the champion.
By the way, I don't know if you saw him put a picture out that he had taken his wedding picture and put the AEW World Championship belt over his new bride's face, showing the love and admiration for his Triple B. Poor Alicia. Oh man, that I bet that's a fun marriage. It really is. But we are on just past the 7th anniversary of the creation of AEW, guys, and it's been an up and down ride for them. They seem to be back going on the correct path again. Phil, overall thoughts about 7 years of AEW?
It's wow. I mean, I think we talked about it just before. I feel like great talent overstacked with too much talent. They don't have it figured out yet for some of their production. I feel like sometimes I'm watching in my life outside of professional wrestling, I work in education, and so sometimes I refer to things as grade 13. Because it's like you went through high school and then you just don't change and you just have one more year of school. I feel like we got all the time of WCW. We skipped a little bit of time, went back to school, and it's grade 13. I remember that from when their very first AEW branded pay-per-view. I was like, this feels like very WCW. And I didn't mean that in the good way when I watched it. I think they've made great strides since then. There needs to be more. And I don't want to see them stall. And I worry about how do they better develop themselves as a product.
And Eric, what do you see in AEW that you would, if you were sitting with Tony right now, what would you say? Hey, Tony, change this. You have any thoughts about that?
I would tell him you need more storylines, just not random wrestler A versus wrestler B. Create stories, create reasons for people to want to tune in to watch what's going to happen with this wrestler or that wrestler or where things are going to go from here. Not just, we're going to put together a great match, great pay-per-view, fine. But I want to be able to watch Dynamite and be built up to that, not just not be interested.
Well,
Make it interesting.
Fair enough. Phil, do you think it's a fair assessment?
Yes.
There you go. Well, it'll be fun. Hopefully I'll be having a conversation with Tony soon. So I'll bring that to his attention just for you guys, because that's what I do. I always cause trouble with Tony. You guys know that. Phil, I wanted to get into this with you because you are in the profession. You have suffered your share of injuries in this profession.
Mm-hmm.
And William Regal made some comments, and probably following what we saw after Kyle Fletcher taking that really nasty bump during World's End where he landed on his head. Now, we saw Braun Breaker take one recently too. And he brought up that, hey, I've broken my neck twice. My lifestyle is just not what I would like it to be because maybe I didn't take as good a care of myself and I took some bumps that I shouldn't have taken. And I'm seeing too many people out there taking these really bad bumps on the backs of their necks and other unnecessary things that they're doing in the ring that down the road, when you're in your 50s, you're not going to be real happy that you did. Are you guys out there seeing this, that people are taking some bumps that they shouldn't be taking? And what's the reason for it? Is it just that they're taking too many chances? They don't care? Bad training? What do you think?
I think it's a strong mix. I don't think necessarily it's bad training, because look at some of the people who are doing this and the skill and ability level that they have. I think it's that question of risk versus reward. they're taking this high risk. Is it going to be the reward in the end for a better contract, a better deal, a better look, a better getting signed by which television company? They want that opportunity, and they're putting their life out there to try to get it. I think part of the story that William Regal tells is something that we don't talk about, is the preventative care to how are you taking care of your neck and your body, and how are you building up strength in your neck. Now, he does say, regardless of all the things that he did, look at all the damage that he has done to his neck. And I worry about a lot of people. And as somebody who's had neck surgery, I have a cervical fusion C5, C6, C7.
Oh, you know that. Oh.
Yeah.
How much fun was that, by the way?
Yeah, it was so much fun. And fortunately, mine was not from one sudden impact injury. Mine was from like long-term wear and tear, but I had years of amateur wrestling and judo and jiu-jitsu and pro wrestling, like all of that sort of accumulated together. And so I know now, like there's a reason why I don't wrestle as much right now. And that's a lot to do with it. I have to be a different kind of talent because I functionally can't do some of the same things. I have nerve damage in like 30% of my body, and most of that is from wrestling. And so you have to be cautious, and people aren't thinking about the long term. People, I mean, as a human, people don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, oh, I'm going to eat poorly, I'm going to drink poorly, I'm going to have these bad things all the time, I'm going to smoke, I'm going to drink, and what is the ramification 20 years of that later? And people don't think of it in that respect. And I'm not saying people you need to go out there and change your lifestyle. I'm not saying for you to examine it. I'm just saying, like, that's part of what's happening here is people want the high reward, and some people feel like the way to do that is a high risk.
Is it the right way, though? I mean, we've talked about it on the show in the past where we've seen people do, these crazy stunts where they're, jumping off balconies and lighting themselves on fire and all this crazy ideas to try to get
ECW in the 90s.
Yeah. Get that moment. And
I think a lot of things in wrestling, like all history, is very cyclical. And so you look at, let's take the ECW example. Okay, ECW, what you just said, lighting themselves on fire, going through tables and doors and jumping off balconies, that was happening on television in the late 90s on ECW. ECW gets brought in some of the flavor, and then actual ECW comes to the WWE, and they incorporate some of that. Well, then they kill off when they ended the ECW, WCW, and WWE feud on television, and it was just the WWE. All of a sudden, you saw this like breath, like get exhaled, and it felt like the risk went way down on your mainstream television. WWE was the only product you were really watching. And so like it, not that it got, I don't want to say it got boring, but it just wasn't as exciting, I felt. And it's like, okay, I get the point. And there were a lot of statements then about, well, we don't need that high risk. We don't need this. The risk for injury was so much higher. And it's like, but you need some excitement. And what is that excitement? And how does that channel for each individual? Remember, wrestling talents are still their own individual people trying to put themselves out there. I would like to believe that there isn't Tony Khan going, okay. And to be fair to William Regal, he didn't go say specifically, oh, this was about Kyle Fletcher and what just happened, because fans were very quick to go, WWE, here's clips from all of your stuff too. When it was looked at, oh, it might be about Kyle because that had just happened. And William Regal has spoken about this before and has put out similar things about this before in his neck. So it probably was about Kyle, but
I think it was an accumulation too. I think that may have been for him the straw that broke the camel's back, because we've been seeing a lot of that. There have been a lot of people landing on their heads lately, and it's been really close to disaster. It really has, and it's scary to watch.
I'm not a personal fan of it because of my experience. There are times I watch and I'm like, hey, just because I know, I know. Yeah. And it is, the person has to make up their own decision if it's going to be worth the reward in the end. I would like to see a little bit more balance. Like, okay, maybe a couple notches down on that risk and then, and still get the same ooh-ah versus going that far and really risking some heavy damage.
Let's put this comment out that was made about who might be the poster boy for this in professional wrestling right now. As Javon Campbell 8357 in the chat box says, I've seen Darby Allin take unnecessary bumps last night on Collision. Mox called him a psycho on color commentary as well. And Darby has done some things, Eric, and that I've seen on TV. He's not the only one, but he's done some things that you just look at and you're like, my God, what are you doing? And as a fan, Eric, does that bother you sometimes when you see people doing stuff like Darby's doing the crazy stuff? I remember when he did that spot off the top of the ladder with Hardy and went into the glass table, and I was like, geez, ew, really? Did you have to do that to get the point across?
As a fan, I don't like it because I think it's too much. And it's almost like, are you trying to literally kill yourself for the enjoyment? We don't want you not here. We want to see you entertain us. We want to see you in that ring. Just stop going that far. Find that right mix that you can do to give that, like Phil said, but not to the point where you're going to hurt yourself. We don't see you for a year.
I mean, I was at the Anarchy in the rematch when Darby lit Jack Perry on fire. I was like, my God, are you serious? And then later in the match, Darby's hanging upside down and, for 10 minutes and getting double super kick with thumbtacks on his, on the Bucks sneakers. And, whether that impact was, how much that was debatable, but Darby's still hanging upside down for 10, 12 minutes. I mean, that's scary, man. And so I see where William's coming from, that, a lot of guys, and it's the same thing, I think, at any professional sport too. Phil, you talk about, is the risk worth the reward? And we see so many players, especially in football, that these guys are, once they're done, man, that especially the older players, they're on canes and, not living a really good lifestyle. But I think that they would say if they had to do it over again, they'd do it.
Yeah. Ask people who did that and got contracts, and like that, they're pretty happy with what they got out of that for the moment, at least. Getting injured sucks. And everybody knows that, and everybody hopes it doesn't happen to them, and it's going to happen to you. And so it's, where is that balance? Where is that line? And like I said, each individual talent has to make that decision for themselves. And I think there's a better balance that you can have. But not everybody can do some of the stuff. So let me talk outside of injury. Like I look at like the Rascals. I look at like a Trey Miguel and a Zachary Wentz, and wow, how fast they move and how things click for them when they're in a ring and they're wrestling and they're moving. But the next guy over can't do that, because if they go that fast, they're going to hurt themselves. So also it takes a little bit of that. You need to be able to do it before you do it, and build yourself up to be that good. And so sometimes when people are doing that high risk stuff, again, for us, it looks high risk. And sometimes when they're actually doing it, it isn't as high risk as we think, because of the abilities that they have as athletes. And so there is a little bit of that shuffle game going on too. There still is a high risk of injury. And it's just finding out that balance.
Before we go to break, let me ask you one more question, Phil, because you're in the middle of this, especially out on the indies. Are there people back in when you're putting a match together backstage, and you're all talking about, okay, this is what we're going to do? Is there somebody back there, or maybe some of the other guys or girls, that say that maybe hear you're going to do this and just kind of tap you on the shoulder and say, I don't know if that's a good idea? Or do you everybody just stay out of the way and let two people play in the match and let the chips fall where they may? Does the promoter have any say in what's going on? Give us an idea of what type of precautions, or maybe somebody there to say, no, don't do that, is in place.
It honestly depends on the promotion. Not every promotion has agents. And so agents will help to, not necessarily per se structure the individual match, depending on the level of talent. Sometimes it's about structuring how the whole event will go. Sometimes it's more focused on production than actual in-ring presentation. So it depends a little bit even on that. But sometimes, yes, there will be those voices that will tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, I just heard you say this. Really?" And depending on who that's coming from, if they're more experienced, if okay, let me listen to what that is. But again, the individual person's going to make that decision at the end of the day. Is that risk still worth it? Do I need to listen to that voice? I will say, even at the point of like friends of mine who have been signed to NXT and went through that process, and were like, there were 11 people telling me 11 different things to do. That's when the bigger challenge comes in, because you're going to pick one way and you're going to piss off 10 to 11 people when you make your final decision to do whatever you're going to do anyway. So, who do you play the favor to follow what your instinct needs to be to make sure you're doing the right thing, the quote right thing, because who's the right thing for? Yourself? It should be the crowd. That should be the final answer. Like, what is the crowd going to get the most out of? But does it make sense, and is it balanced with what you're going to do without harming yourself or the other person?
Fair enough. This is why we have Phil Stamper around. He's a brilliant wrestling tactician most of the time. I've seen an occasional Phil Stamper tactic fail. Occasionally. Not very often, but once in a while. Phil is giving us the stare down and having the sip of the drink as he contemplates what foreign object he can smash into my forehead. Let's take a break and we'll come back. Oh, man. Is The Rock going to come back and wrestle in Saudi? Are you kidding me? Vince got involved in WrestleMania, but we've also got some interesting stuff up on betonline.ag on futures bets. And I can't wait to hit these guys with them because they're pretty hilarious. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
If you live in Clark County, you are at risk of developing non-smoking lung cancer. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that gets into homes and increases one's risk of lung cancer, and it exists here in Clark County. Radon is colorless and odorless, so the only way you know if your radon level is elevated in your home or office is by testing. To get your free test kit, visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu/radon. 21,000 people die of lung cancer each year, and Nevadans are at a higher risk. If an elevated level of radon is found, there are ways to reduce it and lower the risk of getting lung cancer. Get your free test kit today. Visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu.
FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, that's me. What's up? Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver and so much more. Eric Hay from the Sports Books of Las Vegas coming into your radio homes right now. It's pretty exciting. Are you excited, Eric?
Very excited.
I can tell. Oh, man. Well, apparently the Saudis want The Rock. They want The Rock for their WrestleMania. And the Rock is kind of like, man, that would be my last match. I don't know. At least that's what we're hearing. And who knows how this could all turn out. But, Eric, should The Rock be at WrestleMania in a match in Saudi Arabia?
No.
I
mean, look at the debacle of last year. He's too busy. I personally don't want to see him wrestle anymore.
Wow, anymore?
Well, maybe not anymore. I don't mind him showing up, but make it matter. He's got an irrelevant title that does nothing. Where does he go? Unless he's going to put Reigns over finally, where does it go?
Phil, is this a good idea?
It's not a bad idea, because when you were like, the Saudis want him for their WrestleMania, I want him for my WrestleMania. like it's The Rock. So on the aspect of wanting is not bad. I mean, the Rock is this bona fide entertainment superstar. And as we see more and more with WrestleMania, it becomes a little bit less sometimes about the season finale wrapping up everything that's happened for the last year. And sometimes it is a presentation of like, oh, wrestling is the spectacle of all of entertainment. The Rock is that guy. So I can see it. I don't think it necessarily has to be his last match. If he does it, I can see where he might go like, hey, I want to now for this next year, like year and some change, build up to that moment. I can see that. Maybe that's part of this consideration is, okay, what other projects am I working on? Am I going to be able to commit to that? Because my biggest complaint when they put the WWE title on him for a year and then he didn't do anything for a year, and then the week of Mania, here he is, he's back and he's doing talk shows because he was also having a movie come out. He didn't carry the title. He didn't even talk about Mania, the week of Mania on television. That drove me insane, because it's like, well, that's the whole point of him being the spectacle, is him being the spectacle and him being part of the draw of what's going to happen at WrestleMania. So I think he would need to be doing that. I think he knows that now. And I think there is then that pressure, like, okay, I have to do so many things to make sure that this is right. And if anything, that's probably what he's going through.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to this whole thing, some texts and so on got out about Vince McMahon still being involved in WrestleMania through 39 and a little bit into 40, which is kind of crazy. But of course, but Cody was apparently booked to win at 39 in LA. But Roman went to Vince and asked him to push it back a year. Triple H didn't want to do it, then kind of changed his mind. And then we get the debacle the next year with the Roman versus Rock match that nearly happened and pushing Cody out. Boy, what a tangled web that was. And now you want to push the Rock forward, but that whole thing with Vince, Eric, was pretty crazy. And you kind of had to wonder if Roman was thinking, you know what, I want to keep this championship and I want to wrestle the Rock. I don't want to wrestle Cody again.
It's funny you mentioned that, because during one of the breaks, I was looking online and I happened to see a story that came out earlier this week about that Roman pushed to keep the title at 39 and lose it at 40.
Yeah.
And
but then losing it but then he wasn't going to lose it to Cody because, Dwayne stepped in, Phil, and, that could have been a complete just debacle with Cody. And, and if Cody hadn't kind of maybe gone into business for himself a little bit there, wow, we could have maybe even had The Rock as world champ. Really?
I mean, when it was happening, it was like, okay, I can see all of this. Mania was 2 nights. I'm like, what if night 1 is this, night 2 is this? Like, you can still get the sort of everything you want and everything you need. And they didn't go. They really went then back to Cody versus Roman, because that's what enough people wanted. The talent, I think, itself were a little irked. And The Rock has really, like, he has, of course, appeared a couple more times, but he's sort of taken a back seat to all of this. And so to know, let's say it's decided that he's going to. And so now we have 13 months until Saudi Mania. You don't think they're going to tease that for 13 months? Like, they're going to play that. They're going to build it up. They're going to make something that everybody feels happy with, because now there isn't this sort of holding of what's happening with Cody. We're building Cody up for the next other year to get him to this point. They're not doing that. So now it's like, well, that's out of the picture. Is it Roman? Is it somebody else? Is it because it? And I'm going to throw this out there because it's Saudi. Do we get Rock versus Austin? And it's just a fight through the crowd.
Wow.
Can you imagine that in Saudi?
Wow.
I could see Saudi want that and go for that. Do you get, let's say it is Rock versus Roman. Okay, great. And you show the previous press conferences that they did up to the point before Cody interrupted. And like, you show that there's been this history that now they pay off. Okay.
Maybe Gunther could retire The Rock too.
There you go.
Just throwing that out there. And speaking of that, I don't know if you guys got to get to the link that I sent you at to go to betonline.ag and check out some of these futures bets. We're going to talk about some of these, but I will say first, the odds on the Royal Rumble have changed a little bit. Roman Reigns on the men's side is now the favorite at plus 165, but Gunther has moved into second, plus 200. And I still can't believe this. Plus 400 for number 3 man is Sami Zayn, followed by Braun Breaker, LA Knight. Then we start getting the plus 1,000 with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Obafemi, Dirty Dom. But another guy, it's plus 2,500 is Brock Lesnar. Maybe throw a little money on the Brockster. I don't know. This would be interesting. Phil, what do you think of some of these betting odds for the men's Royal Rumble?
I'll be honest, I can't find this on it. I found other futures things that were in there, but I couldn't find Mania specific, or not. Excuse me, Royal Rumble specifically.
Okay, it's down below the futures, but
gotcha.
It's okay.
But I'm not shocked. I actually think Brock is an outlier. I don't see him winning the Rumble. There's a lot more. I don't know if it's confirmed or not about that. He's going to be also heading into his retirement. AJ Styles is going to be heading into his retirement. I think there's a better chance for AJ Styles to win the Royal Rumble than Brock Lesnar.
There's an idea. That's fun.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. Sami Zayn would be fun, but I don't think he would win in the end. But
boy, everybody and people are banging on Sami. I saw one tweet yesterday that said, "Dress like a champion, man. If you want to be a world champion, stop going out and looking like a bum." Is that Eric? Is that fair? I mean,
if you want to be that guy. Not saying dress in a suit everywhere you go if that's not his style, but find that mix.
Yeah. The women's, by the way, right now, and I probably agree with this. Liv Morgan is the current favorite, Eric, at plus 100, followed by a hopefully returning Bianca Belair, then Rhea Ripley, Charlotte. Wow, and there's a big jump. Rhea's plus 300 goes to Charlotte at plus 1,000. So a huge jump there from the top 3. Is it Liv Morgan's year?
I think it finally is. She's one of the 2 people that's been in every Rumble. She's come in early in most of them just because she's had such great runs. She finished 2, I think, to Bayley when Bayley won, or she finished 2 to someone. I forgot who it was. And I think it's time for her to take the next level. Maybe not feud with Rhea all year long again, but feud with someone and have that big year going forward.
There you go. So that's kind of where the Rumble's at. And when we come back, there's some very interesting futures bets on there. I can't wait to hear what these guys say about this as we look forward to 2026 in maybe a partially serious way and partially not so much. But that's okay. It's professional wrestling. Stick around. We got a whole lot more here on the Mark Hoke Show. Phil Stamper at Trust and Phil. Eric Hay along for the ride as well. Stick around, everybody. Final segment coming up. The best in pro wrestling right here on KDAWN. We'll be right back.
.1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Man, screw you guys. I'm going home. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. Final segment of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. 1015 FM Talk of Las Vegas, also streaming on the Odyssey app. Go get that app right now. You'll be able to listen to us all the time and all of our great stations. And if you do, I promise that I will put Phil Stamper through a table WrestleMania weekend.
Bro.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, I'd take it, but bro.
I've got an AJ Francis quality choke slam. Minus like 5,000.
AJ Francis is also 6'3".
Yeah. How tall are you, Phil?
Tall enough.
That's okay. I mean, you know, if we're, we'll just say we're the same height, no matter what it is.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, we'll do that. Eric Hay along for the ride as well. And taking a look ahead to 2026, BetOnline.ag's got some interesting futures bets up. And there's one right off the bat. Who will be the AEW Men's World Heavyweight Champion at the end of 2026? So we're looking ahead to December 31 of this year. Swerve Strickland is a slight favorite at plus 300, filed by Kyle Fletcher and Darby Allin. And then it's Will Ospreay and MJF and Okada. Hangman Adam Page and Mox right behind them. Takeshita's in that mix as well. It is a very interesting question. Eric, who do you think will be the World Heavyweight Champion at the end of the year in AEW?
If he's healthy, Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. Phil, do you agree with that assessment?
That's a good call. I like that call. I think Will has been nothing but a positive force in AEW. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who does go risk, but I like it. I like that as an option. I think that would bring a different kind of energy and a new energy that I think would be appreciated.
What about Darby? I mean, they've been trying to get him to become the world champion, and he keeps going to trips or getting hurt. Swerve's a favorite here too. That's what's intriguing about this, is that it could be, 7 or 8 guys.
Right. Well, I love Strickland to death. If it was Strickland, I would not be opposed either. I think he brought a cool energy. I think, and that's part of this challenge is, all right, now you need a new face of the company to hold that company. MJF is a good, reliable. He's still young. He's still super talented. So people can look at him and be like, all right, cool. I'm sorry, but I almost said the wrong name. Adam Page is not that guy. He is not, to me, he doesn't bring, when he's with other people, I think he does well. For some reason, as a singles guy, he doesn't rise to the occasion as well. And so I'm like, all right, we need to put this ball on somebody else who can. And Will Ospreay, I think, is a great choice. Strick is a great choice. Man, I hope it's Strick, because I don't think Strick got the run he needed.
I would agree with you on that. Mercedes Moné on the AEW side for the women is the favorite to be the champ at the end of 2026. Then it goes Chris Statler, then Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, whenever they let her come out of hiding. Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm, Megan Bayne. I think I would agree with that bet on Mercedes Moné. Eric?
I agree. I think, like we discussed earlier, she'll lose, come back, win that women's championship.
Yeah, no doubt. And Phil, now there's some fun ones in here. Are you ready? I'm going to throw a couple of these at you. Any AEW member have a sex tape leaked? It is a plus 1,000, so not favored to happen, but they have it listed. You can bet on it. Do you think that there's a possibility that any AEW wrestler will have a sex tape released on them in 2026? You know these people.
Part of me is like, now I want them to plan out a pre-taped thing that makes you feel like this is going to come out, and it's not that at all. Like, it's just a segment. Like, that's so I can't believe that's actually.
Do you realize, Phil, that if you talk to a couple people, you put 5,000 on this, man, it's a plus 1,000. That's a lot of money to make the sex tape.
That is a lot.
Somebody could sit out a few months on the indie circuit.
I mean, the scary thing is there are a lot of couples in AEW.
There are.
And so
there are. I think one of them might do it just to make the money if they find out about this. Also, let's see. Any wrestler have their head shaved in the ring? Eric, do you think somebody's going to lose their hair this year?
I can't remember last time there was a hair versus hair match or anything like that. So I doubt it.
There is one down here, and they actually have a minus 200, so they're expecting it to happen. Will a wrestler lose a must unmask match? And if you think about what's going on with MJF, maybe
that one's more realistic.
Yeah, unmask El Grande Americano, and out comes another El Grande Americano.
Well, that's an AEW bet, so it's not a WWE bet.
Sorry.
Does Tony Khan get physically involved in a match?
Ooh.
Plus 500. So they say no, but it's on the board. Anybody like that one?
I kind of like that one. I don't know what match it would be, but I like that one.
Let's see, Eric. Does Prince Nana turn on Swerve? He's a plus 150, so they think decent chance. Saying no, but barely.
I mean, it's a easy story to always tell, and it could happen eventually at some point.
Phil, does Darby Allin win the heavyweight title? Plus 250.
I feel like that's going to happen, but I don't want it to.
Well, there's a good bet for you. You know, that's a little bit to make money on. Let's see what else is on the AEW side. Let's go to the WWE side here. World or heavyweight champ at the end of 2026. So they have Roman Reigns plus 150, Braun Breaker plus 200, CM Punk plus 220, Gunther plus 300. Then it goes Cody, Drew, Bronson Reed, Obafemi, Logan Paul, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Orton, Knight, and Dom. Any names that you like in there that you think at the end of the year are going to have it? Eric?
I prefer it be someone like a Braun Breaker or LA Knight. That's my personal preference.
So you think they'll be standing at the end of the year? Who's standing at the end of the year, Phil?
Ooh, I think that this is tough. I think if you're going to get a Rock Roman, then it's Roman.
I agree. I think Roman Reigns is probably a pretty good bet on that one. The women's side, let me just refresh this here real quick. Io Sky is one of their favorites to have a world championship. Io Sky, Steph Vicaire, Bianca Belair, Rhea, Julia, Charlotte. Is Julia at the end of the year with world title? Phil, maybe? Who you like? There's more there too, obviously, but
right. It's so hard because you do have a lot of top competitors there.
Yeah, the women's going to be who's going to be on top of the women's division is tough.
Right.
That's tough.
I'm going to say Stephanie at the end of the year.
Yeah. Chad Gable win a singles main event championship, Eric. They are minus 500, so they think he is.
I can see him finally getting that Intercontinental title.
Phil, is Chad Gable going to win a title?
All right, I want to know what they mean by main event title. Like,
well, something
any of the championships.
Yeah, any one of the main championships. Yeah, not like the speed title or something.
Right. I think there is a decent chance. Yes.
This one, I got to tell you, people get on the site and jump on this. Does Kevin Owens return? It is a minus 300, so you're only getting 1 to 3 on your money. But I mean, Kevin's been at the Performance Center; he's getting ready. So I would imagine, Eric, that he's going to be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah. So here's one for you, Phil.
Okay.
Does Vince McMahon go into the Hall of Fame in 2026? Stephanie's already in, plus 700. So they're saying no, but putting it on the board. What do you think?
I'm in the same boat. I'm going to say no for now. I think in the future, yes, but not 2026.
Eric, will Dominic get another woman after Liv? Answer is yes right now at minus 175.
I mean, hey, he's got to follow in his father's footsteps, right?
Who would
the Latino heat?
Who would that woman be? Is he gonna go for the mighty might of Roxanne Perez or I don't know.
I think you need to call someone else up from NXT and put them in that spot.
Wow, you're going for an NXT call up
because you already have Roxanne there. I mean, they could have built this up and they've done nothing with that. So why not give someone else that spot? Let Roxanne do her thing.
Phil, who should Dominic be with next if he dumps Liv? How could you dump Liv though?
I think it's I feel it's going to be a swerve that we don't see coming. That it'll be the next person, but I don't right now know who the next person is.
Let's see. Well, Phil, will a TNA wrestler win a WWE championship
in the next year? No.
Plus 300. Eric, will a TNA wrestler win a WWE championship?
Main roster, no.
Nope. All right. Let's see. Does Sami Zayn turn heel? Plus 125, so it's pretty close. Phil, does Sami turn heel?
I could see it. I could totally see it, but I'm not like, this is a bet I wouldn't make, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened.
Okay. That's interesting. Let's see. Here's one that would probably make Eric cringe. Eric, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Does Jake Paul wrestle one match? Plus 100, so even money.
No.
No? Are you sure? I got it. I think he's going to do it.
Leave that to Logan and go do whatever the heck you want to do after your jaw heals.
Oh, there's got to be a tag match in there coming now.
That heel heat will be so strong. It'll be like when Vicky Guerrero tried to do that promo and the fans wouldn't let her. It'd be worse than that.
All right. I think it happens, Phil. I think Jake Paul is going to wrestle. Maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because if you sort of think about it, for the next 3 months he can't. So at least that's out.
Right. He's done getting punched in the face.
If the bet was get involved in a Logan Paul match, that's different. That's not wrestling. I would say yes to that, but wrestling, I'm going to say no.
I think he's going to do it. I really do. I'm totally down with that. And this one's interesting too. Does Gunther retire any other wrestlers? Phil, does he retire any other wrestlers? There's some candidates this year.
Yeah.
There's two. I mean, AJ and Brock.
Right. Does he retire somebody we don't see coming?
Hard truth.
I am now intrigued by that line of thought, so I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, that's where was that line on that? Minus 200. They think so. Eric, do you think he's going to retire one more?
I think he'll probably be AJ Styles' last match.
Fair enough.
They're already building that up a little bit now.
By the way, Javon Campbell in the chat box on the Dirty Dom, he gets Chelsea from Matt Cardona. Ha! Ah! I'm going to wish you the best of luck on that one. And by the way, Bionic Scoop, our friend chat box. Mark, Phil, Eric, we got to yell Scoop! Scoop! There we go. All right, guys. Great show. Phil, thank you very much. Make sure you follow Phil Stamper at Trust in Phil with all his incredible wrestling expertise and a great job today. Eric, hey, we don't have a follow for you there, but we'll get you on social media.
I'll get you my handles.
All right, fair enough. And I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us today. We really do appreciate it. Follow me on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Check out all our great shows. Head over to YouTube, and we've got them all posted up there for you. And you can hear this show and so many others and some great interviews. We will see you next week, Las Vegas. Be safe out there. It was a foggy morning, so a little bad weather. We'll see you next week.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
If you live in Clark County, you are at risk of